All right, Nick, let's talk about the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders, the biggest question this offseason, obviously, who's going to be the starting quarterback of this team? We did a couple stories about it. We think Aiden O'Connell's looking really good, but then at times, Gardner Minshew, he's shown some bright spots as well. But I think the Raiders, they have a plan, they have a good idea. We have some corroborating evidence of who actually might be settling in as the guy. Let's get into the article and we can talk more about it on the other side. This is from Silver and Black Pride. It says, Rick Scarnegliarillo. I could probably have butchered that, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to just call him Rich from now on. Isn't being obtuse about the Las Vegas Raiders quarterback situation. The position coach is well aware that either Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew will eventually emerge as a starting quarterback. But with the Silver and Black still at early stages of the offseason, mandatory minicamp is slated for next week from June 11th through 13th. Rich, in his second stint with the Raiders, is eager to see how the competition plays out between the two signal callers under his charge. The quarterback coach knows the challenge of preparing both O'Connell and Minshew equally while having say in the decision who is going to be a leader of the offense, because that's what the position boils down to. Being a leader and often the face of an organization. And I think that is the key part here, Nick. I'm curious what your thoughts are on the Raiders situation here. But before we get to you, Raiders fan, in the comment section below, first, phonetically, let me know how to say your QB coach's last name. And secondly, who's your favorite Raiders quarterback of all time? I think there's some really interesting names on that list, but let us know who's your favorite Raiders quarterback of all time. But Nick, what do you think about this QB competition for the Raiders?
Well, first of all, I think you need to spend some more time around Italian people because that was pretty rough. But yeah, when you look at the quarterback position, right, this is a situation here where I think people when they sit there and say, okay, they brought in Gardner Minshew, is he the stopgap? He's been that before. Is he the guy for the future? Is it Aiden O'Connell? Are they buying time until drafting a quarterback, maybe in 2025? Like, what's the overall strategy here? And if you look at those comments there, we're looking for a guy to be a leader. That's our number one priority, which obviously aligns with what Antonio Pierce has talked about numerous times this offseason. Well, that leads us into another interesting report talking about the people being in the building the most and earlier this offseason. Let's go ahead and pull this up, Miles. It's from SI.com, talking about early participants. And here's the report. One of the participants was the team's leader on offense, second-year quarterback Aiden O'Connell. Me and my wife are both from the Midwest, so I think a big part of it was we just didn't want to go back to the cold. We just wanted to stay in Vegas, O'Connell told reporters on Tuesday. But obviously, just to be here with our strength coaches in our facility with the resources we have is awesome. And so, yeah, we love this area. We love to be here and live here. And so we wanted to stay and also get some great work in our facility. So you talk about, again, the first comment, the first article, right? We're looking for a leader. We're looking for a guy to be there, be the face of the franchise, be the guy to be the first one in, last one out. And here you have Aiden O'Connell earlier this offseason talking about, hey, I stayed here with my family, stayed in Vegas, working out in the facilities, being literally not the first one in like on the morning, being the first one in the offseason, right? The first of the first coming here and putting in work, right? That sounds like a leader to me. That sounds like a face of the franchise to me. Now, obviously, O'Connell has to perform as a quarterback and a passer and do all those kind of things as well. But I think from a leadership perspective, from a being the face of the franchise, being the guy that the team can galvanize around them, being the coach on the field kind of thing, I think we're seeing one man jump into the clear pole position, and that's Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah, Nate, and when you talk about a team, you talk about any kind of organization throughout history. When you're new, you have to put in extra work. When you're established, it's a little bit easier to do things. Probably you don't have to always be the first one in, last one out when you have established and you have a good foundation underneath you. But a new head coach, this is, he's interim head coach, but this is first time, first year head coach for Pierce. This is first time that O'Connell potentially could be the full time starting quarterback of this team. There's a lot of new players around this team as well. There's a lot of new coaching staff. There's a lot of new people to get to know and really establish relationships with. And that's what a good leader will do. When there's so many new things, you have to put in the extra effort to build your solid foundation so then the regular day-to-day things can go on. And it sounds like that's exactly what O'Connell is doing. He's coming in early. He's staying through the offseason to get better relationships with the strength coach, their other coaches. Make sure that people know that he's around, that he's going to be the guy that is always there. It's the offseason. NFL is a brutal business. You go through a whole season, you deserve some time away. But I think O'Connell, he realizes the importance of this situation and really just buckles down, stays in Las Vegas. He's, jokingly says, I don't want to go back home. It's too cold. But, everybody wants to go back home, do some stuff with family. I think it's him, doing it a little in jest, but he wants to be a leader. He wants to be the starting quarterback of this team, and he knows to earn that position, he's got to put in the extra effort. So I love what's happening from O'Connell here, and I really think the earlier comments talking about the leader and the face of the team, that's who the quarterback is. He's showing right now that is the guy that he is, and I'm excited about O'Connell.
And you know who else notices this too? Guys like Max Crosby that have been working there too this offseason, right? This doesn't go unnoticed, right? When you're in a transition era and you're looking for your next quarterback, your next guy to be in there to be the future of your franchise, putting in that extra time, putting in that effort, right? The people in the locker room notice it just as much as the coaches, and that's really important. That's why altogether, right, you're seeing, it's early, right? I understand it's just June at this point, but I think right now we've seen a clear guy emerge as the leader, and you saw it in one of the reports there, as the leader of this offense and maybe the leader of this team as a whole, in young second-year man Aiden O'Connell. And a lot of quarterbacks have the physical talents. Aiden O'Connell certainly has his, but the leadership and intangibles usually is what cause talented quarterbacks to bust out of the league. They never perform. O'Connell doesn't have that problem. I think if he fixes some of his, things at the quarterback position, he gets more experience in that, he could clearly emerge as a quality quarterback in the NFL because he's already got the intangibles really solid.